In round one of Supercross at Matchams Park, we had plenty of spills and a surprise.
That's back the Australian who specialises all the way from Sydney, does not like our climate. One bit and rolls it up, and Craig Dack is down, and the machine being landed on by the rest of the riders, but Craig Dack picking himself up, the riders beating the machine to pieces.
There's Wilkinson, thunders through, and he's taken Tollett as they went up that climb. We've not seen anybody overtake there before, but it gave him plenty of air. He held it as he came down. That sharp right-hand hairpin. He's lost it. He's lost it. They've both gone down. Wilkinson and Tollett have both gone down.
Eastwood came home for 12 points in his heat, so the win will do no harm at all to Eastwood's championship chances, even though it is an early stage in the competition.
Hello and welcome to the second round of the Honda UK Open here at Matchams Park. Last week we certainly got off to a terrific start with 18-year-old Mark Eastwood beating our reigning champion Jeremy Watley. Let's hope there's plenty more action like that today. Well, in the opening race of round two, Jeremy Watley bounced back from his defeat by Mark Eastwood to capture maximum points. Warren Edwards was second and Mervyn Anstey third. So it's on to heat two, and your commentator, Barry Nutley.
Suzuki are currently leading the team competition from Kawasaki, and their hopes in this race rest with Rob Herring, number 6, on the yellow Suzuki, affectionately known as the Fish for obvious reasons. Robbie Herring, 20 years of age, grew up in South Africa, came into Europe 2 years ago with a tremendous impact on the European scene, was extremely fast in the Grand Prix and in British Championships, but had a reputation for throwing the machine away to such an extent that he injured his knee at the end of last season, but is now back with a bang. Straight into the lead, Bill Small, number 17 on the Kawasaki, and Matthew Bates from Crowthorne on the inside. So young Matt Bates leads. This is a turn-up for the books. Matt Bates and Phil Small, neck and neck. KTM and Kawasaki, the 2Ks, very much side by side in the second round of Supercross. And there's Herring. Herring up into second, round the outside of Matt Bates, but Matt Bates knows he's in hot company. Herring is alongside him. Phil Small scorching away on the number 17, Team Green Kawasaki. Robert Herring, number 6. Young Matt Bates riding very, very well indeed. But Phil Small, the surprise man of the series so far. Our cameraman of last year, this time has discarded the hardware. He's done away with the camera, done away with the battery packs. He's now uncluttered, and it certainly is showing in his riding, and he's really delivering the goods. 3 laps to go. Philip Small from the Portsmouth area. Local in Hampshire all his life, grew up on the Southern Centre, on the South Downs, riding beautifully for the family business, and now riding the Team Green Kawasaki. So doing his best to score points, 15 points you remember for a win. He's already had 1 win, and there is a faller. That is young Matt Bates, number 25. He's pulling a face a bit in pain there. He's obviously come down heavily. But the leader, number 17, Phil Small. In second place, Rob the Fish Herring on the Suzuki. In third place, it's number 23, Philip Neal from Northern Ireland, one of the Ulster riders here today on his KTM. Another faller. Down goes Herring, 6 there. What did I say? He's been known to throw it away, and indeed he has, so that's elevated Phil Neal up to second place. But Philip Small leads. Philip Neal in second. No mistaking the leader. Small is really riding well in this Supercross series of 89. The Matchams track, you can either ride it or you can't, but the quality of entry we have throughout the event is demonstrating that there is going to be no safe winner of this year's series. It's wide open, a great deal of talent. Philip Small looking very, very composed indeed. Phil Neal on the KTM, travelling backwards and forwards, commutes from Northern Ireland. And to help foot the bill, he has private sponsorship from SMG Enterprises, who help him with all his boat fares and all his diesel bills. No easy task commuting from Northern Ireland to Europe to do the Grand Prix. That's exactly what Phil Neal proposes to do. 125 GPs, 21 years of age, and the British Championships, not to mention the Northern Ireland Championships. And the leader still, Phil Small, and Neal is closing. Phil Neal is closing on Philip Small. Is it going to go all the way to the flag? Nothing between these two now. 23 Phil Neal really closing on the Kawasaki of Philip Small. Looking very clean and immaculate, tight round that bend, Philip Neal. Over the double jump, drops it into the left-hander. Small goes wide. Neal comes out of the middle of the corner. The power is on, hooking it up through the gearbox, taking the wide line. The checkered flag being readied, nothing between these first three through the whoop-de-doops. Philip Neal, number 23 on the KTM. The Gordon Jones KTM, the man who looks after the team, sponsors these riders on KTM. The checkered flag out, a win for Phil Small, second for Philip Neal. And in third place, the number 8 Suzuki of Ashley Kane from the northeast. And that young man from Ulster, Philip Neal, closed on Phil Small towards the end of the race. He made the ground in the last lap. Had it gone one more lap, I dare not think what the decision might have been, but the winner, number 17, Philip Small.
Maximum points then to Phil Small, 12 to Phil Neal, and 10 to Ashley Kane. Well, Phil Small, last year, of course, you were our camera bike man, and you had a lot of fun with that, but this year, you've got off to a dream start actually racing and doing really well.
Yeah, I'm really pleased. You know, I've had 2 good heat rides now. Final, I got into a bit of trouble, sort of with pile-ups and what have you, but yeah, I'm hopeful. I'm pleased to be going well, you know.
Maybe we are sort of lucky omens for you. You must have learned quite a lot last year, taking that camera around.
Yeah, obviously, you know, I mean, the work I done last year, I think I done probably 3 times as many races as everyone else last year, but yeah, it was real good fun and I enjoyed it, but I'm especially pleased to be out there this year, being able to give it what I've got, you know.
Well, it's time to see what the kids can do now as the schoolboys prepare for action. So let's join commentator David Duffield.
As the schoolboys come to the line in round 2, this is heat 3 as far as they're concerned, and the score to be settled between Danny Tollett, number 5 from Liverpool, who rides for Honda, as does his teammate number 9, Darry Wilkinson. Well, Danny is no stranger to this track. He came joint first here when we held the Supercross 12 months ago, but he's a great one for battling, and he and Danny Tollett battled it out on the last lap, and they both came an awful crash, letting in the winner to go clearly into this round with the maximum point, Jason Burrows. And is he going to show them a clean pair of wheels? And he has done just that. Jason Burrows, number 7, he was the one who took a first in the first round, and he looks like he wants to get maximum points yet again. Well, Wilkinson and Tollett will be keeping a watchful eye on each other, and let's hope they stay upright this time, as there's quite a gaggle of riders now behind the flying pair at the front, and he's not going to have it all his own way. I can see a change coming up here to Jason Burrows. He doesn't watch out. The rest of the riders handling these bikes like superstars. I remember their ages range from only about 13 through to 16 years of age. And they are controlling these bikes superbly well. 125 cc's of power. They have to be very good on the gear change, coming out of a corner like that and showing great style at the moment. It's Jason Burrows in the lead, the Kawasaki rider from South Wales. He's being hotly pursued by Neil Prince, also from Wales, but he comes from Wrexham up there in the north, and he's the Honda-mounted rider, as looking quickly back over his shoulder. Jason Burrows wanted to see who was coming up to him, and it's Neil Prince closing up there. So that is not going to be a walkover this time for Jason Burrows. Prince is coming up at him now, and behind them then we have number 10, I think it is, Roy Prescott there as well. No, it's 18, my mistake, who's coming up in third place, but he's out of the reckoning, Gary Hughes. I think it's these two at the front, but what a superb stylist is Jason Burrows, number 7. He really's got this one stitched up. There he goes, looking remarkably clean and comfortable. Of course, he's out of all the muck and the muck that's flying up from the back wheels, whereas behind him now, Neil Prince is the man who's going to get all the stuff off the back wheels, because that's flying up at him now. He thinks stadium racing, Prince, he thinks it's great fun, brilliant. He came here last year in fine style, and here he is now beginning to close that gap. Probably a lot more experience of this sort of track than Jason Burrows, and he's really got to bring all that skill into play if he's going to close that gap. But something tells me that Kawasaki is really on song at the moment, because the gap is not coming down on the straight parts of the course. Prince might be a little more skilled coming round the sharp hairpin. Can he close the gap now? Well, they come off the top of Hernberm, over the top of that bridge. There they go. That's made of 2 lorry chassis, and the riders clear it. In fact, they might as well not put the bridge there at all for some of these riders. They go across that in fine style, not touching the top of the bridge at all. There they go, flying through the air. He stuck the back wheel out then. He recognised that he's got to put the power on, but these two are so far out of sight, they're almost likely to start lapping some of the back markers. This is brilliant, and Prince has seen he's got to do something about it. He's had a go at closing that gap down. He's still not out of the reckoning. So it's Neil Prince riding for Honda, 16 years of age, comes from Wrexham, and he won that race on New Year's Day. He finally started the season off with the first place on January the 1st, and now with just one more lap to go, this is up towards the second track, or the last lap now. Can Neil Prince in second place achieve what he did on New Year's Day when he took a first place at Hawkston? He's closing up, he took a much tighter line inside, but he couldn't get the revs on, and Burrows saw the danger, opened it up, and again showed superb control. Oh, he's closed up, he's got wheel to wheel then. Prince got right up on the back wheel of Jason Burrows. It's a 1-2 battle here with number 7, the Kawasaki in the front, the Honda in second place. Prince is going around the outside, right alongside, he hit him, he's got over the front, he must have landed on his handlebars almost, but Prince went past him. I thought on the tricky part of the course that Neil Prince from Wrexham, who's been racing now for 11 years, he shot into the lead on his Honda in some fine style, and that was one of the best bits of bike riding we've seen for a long, long time. What a courageous piece of bike riding. It's taken him into the lead, and our winner then is Neil Prince from Wrexham on his Honda, and in second place Jason Burrows. That was some race by these two riders, and look at the gap then between these two and the third place man coming in at the moment. That's Gary Hughes, number 18 then, Gary Hughes coming into third place. But what a great ride for Neil Prince, number 1. He was first on New Year's Day, he's been first here now, and that's number 1 proudly on his bike.
Excellent stuff then from Neil Prince. He picks up the 15-point maximum ahead of Jason Burrows and Gary Hughes. Stay with us, we'll have more exciting action from the boys after this short break.
Well, there's no doubt about the man to watch in this particular race. It's 15-year-old Matthew Harvey, number 6 from Ipswich, and he'd like to be first again as he was in round 1, because he's well known to being number 1 at the front. He's our champion of champions from 1988. He's a National League winner from 1988 and the ACU finalist from 1988. Can he now, here at Matchams, trounce these lads there? He's got alongside him Kelly Swanson, number 4 from Honda, Ray Prescott from Holmskirk, and the proud of Chris McMillan, also on a Honda bike. And those other 3 lads finished second and third in the previous heats, and so they'll be down to try and top it. But look at a wonderful starting right from the gun. He took the lead, Matthew Harvey roared into first place with Kelly Swanson on the Honda just behind him. Well, Swanson had a second place in round 1. Is he going to be happy sitting in there, or will he try now and close the gap on Harvey, who has really set a hot pace yet again at the front? And right behind him is Chris McMillan. We thought the 2 Honda boys had packed close behind Matthew Harvey. That's just what they've done, but they shouldn't get too close. You've already seen in round 1 when 2 of the Honda lads touched and down they fell. And although they are teammates, of course, there is a competitive element about it, and there's been a change because Chris McMillan has now gone past Kelly Swanson into second place. McMillan, who's 16 years of age, comes from Ferndown, not far from here, knows his way around this track now, and he's closing the gap. He's a lad who didn't have a lot of success in 1988, but in 87 he was the Inter-80s champion of champion. He was third in the BSMA finals as well, and he won a lot of nationals on his 80cc bike, but now he's up to 125. That's Chris McMillan in second place. In third place still is Kelly Swanson, 4th behind him is Ray Prescott, and in 5th place is number 12, and that's Lee Alston from Goffstoke in Hertfordshire. But these 2 at the front have really opened up an enormous gap. And I've been very impressed with Chris McMillan in the practicing and also in the previous heat. I don't think he's going to let Harvey really get away with it all that easy. He left the brakes on a bit long then, and he took a bit of time to open that bike up and close the gap. He's taken inside line. In front then, in the white strip, is Matthew Harvey riding on his Yamaha. He's got him against him. Harvey closed down, and that really caused a problem for Chris McMillan, because as he bumped into the back of Harvey's bike, so he almost came off the saddle, lost control of the bike. Fortunately, he kept the engine revving. He must have pulled the clutch in so that he didn't grind to a halt, and now he's after Harvey. I don't think he's going to let him get away with it either. And it's now open to speculation what would have happened had those 2 not bumped on that very tight hairpin. He's closed the gap yet again. Now this is very significant for Chris McMillan, number 2 on the red Honda. Following on behind number 6, Matthew Harvey on the Yamaha. Harvey's come from a long way out. He's travelled all the way down from Ipswich, and he'd dearly like to get maximum points yet again to add to the 15. He's gone again up against him. Macmillan just cannot find a way round Harvey. He closes up on the hairpins and he just can't get on the inside of them. There's usually only one line on this track as the wheels have bedded down and cut up quite a ditch. He's gone around the outside. No, he's going to do it. He decided he tried the inside and failed. He got the long sweep around, and a wonderful piece of riding by Chris Macmillan, who obviously fooled Harvey into thinking he's coming on the inside. On previous laps he challenged at that particular... Oh, he stalled. He's lost power, but he's now got the... engine going again with 1 lap to go. What a disappointment for Chris Macmillan on the Honda now, chasing after Matthew Harvey on his Yamaha. Well, he's been already. Can he do it for the second time? Harvey leads, in second place, looking for a place to come round. Well, he's very tricky, this man in second place, Chris Macmillan. He knows how to fluke to come on the inside, box the man, then swing on the outside. He's got to do it when we get down. Oh, he's tried again. That's another of those bends where he's bumped into Harvey. What an amazing piece of riding by Macmillan. I'm sure if he got past Harvey and kept himself in one piece, got the gear changes right, he would certainly win this race. But he's got to get past him, and I don't think he's going to do it now. He's just got 1, 2, 3 bends ahead of him. He's going to try around the outside. This one, Harvey searches for a gear and manages to get it away. Well, Macmillan is trying every trick in the book, and he's now got just over the top of this jump. They're coming into the finishing straight now, the checkered flag. He's left it too late. What a great race those two schoolboys gave us as Matthew Harvey runs out winner. But I think he'd be thankful for that one that Chris Macmillan unfortunately slipped the gear. Otherwise, I think the situation would have been reversed. And behind them then, we lost sight of the battle for third place because this was so exciting up front. But it went to another Honda rider, Kelly Swanson, 15 years of age from Warringborough. These two riders really had the crowd on their feet all the way through.
So, after 2 rounds of thrilling schoolboy racing, Matthew Harvey heads the table with 30 points, 3 ahead of Jason Burrows and Neil Prince. Chris Macmillan and Kelly Swanson follow, both on 21. Well, back in the 60s, this man, Vic Eastwood, was a top motocross star. Now his son, Mark, is hoping to follow, and Dad is pleased with his progress.
Yeah, he's going very well. Yeah, we're very pleased. You know, he's coming along better than we hoped, really.
And are you pleased with the way the career's going generally? Because he's still young, isn't he?
Well, that's right. Yeah, still a lot to learn, but yeah, he's going very good. We're very pleased.
Now, tell me about the relationship between the two of you. I mean, how important are you to Mark? I mean, are you able to help him out and advise him, or does he look to the rest of the team for that?
Well, I'll keep the bike clean.
Is that all? But no, with all your experience, you must be able to obviously help him out and give him guidance.
Yeah, we do talk about it, but not necessarily race day, but the day after, and discuss it to try and learn a bit more.
Right, and is that what you enjoy, Mark? Is it nice to have somebody like that around who can help you out?
It is if you've had a good ride, but not when you've had a bad one.
He's a bit tough on you at times, is he?
No, he's not tough on me. He's just when I've had a bad ride and he tries to tell me what I'm doing wrong, I don't like it, you see, because I've had a bad ride. So it's more me. He's not tough on me at all. It's just me.
Your dad obviously achieved an awful lot. Are you hoping that maybe your career ultimately will sort of outshadow his and you'll go on to bigger and better things?
Oh, I don't know. It's too early. It's too early to tell. I'd like to, but whether it actually happens or not is another matter.
And Mark Eastwood gets another chance to impress now as we rejoin Barry Nutley.
As the riders square up for the final of round 2, the man with an awful lot to do, number 18, Andy Nichols on the Kajiva, who took Jeremy Watley all the way to the last round in last year's series, is only currently sitting in 4th place on a relatively lowly 26 points. Ahead of him is young Mark Eastwood in 3rd place on 34, Phil Smalls on 37, the series leader so far, Jeremy Watley on 42. There are 6 different machines in the top 8 places so far in the championship. A real spread of talent. It's wide open. Number 11, Warren Edwards, side by side there with Jeremy Watley as one of the riders takes an excursion, and that was Philip Neal from Ireland, almost into the fence, but he recovered in the nick of time. Anstey there getting a bit crossed up on the Honda. But the leader, Jeremy Watley, number 5. Series leader so far leading this race, but he's not having it all his own way because number 11, young Warren Edwards there on the Yamaha, pushing him hard. And Edwards going really well, neck and neck, tooth and nail, after Watley. In 3rd place, it's another Suzuki, and it looks very much to me like the number 6 of Rob Herring, and it is indeed. Suzuki 1-2. Warren Edwards pushed down into 3rd. Whatley galloping on his way to another 15 points, unless misfortune befalls him, but nothing between the top four, just the length of the straight. A 150-yard dash, that's all it is, that separates Whatley, and all the others are closing. They're winding him in. A brilliant ride by young Warren Edwards from Maidstone on the Yamaha. Roger Harvey will be pleased with his performance. The youngster acquitting himself very, very well indeed in his first, dare I say, few months in adult competition. Edwards, Whatley leading. Rob Herring. Spent most of his formative years in South Africa, where he grew up through the ranks of schoolboy motocross. Burst onto the European scene in a big way. Jeremy Whatley giving Rob Hooper, the team manager for the Suzuki team, something to rub his hands about, because he's pinning his hopes on this man to carry the Suzuki flag in the 250cc World Championship. The first Grand Prix was called off, so they didn't go to Yugoslavia. A really close battle. Warren Edwards has not given up yet on Rob Herring. Herring still in second place. Andy Nichols still in fifth. The leader, second. Third place, Warren Edwards, still staying with it. Mark Eastwood up to third, so Suzuki, 3 bikes in the top 4 in this final. So a good day for Team Yellow so far. Whatley over the jump now, stretching out that gap just a little bit from Herring. Herring has a lot to do to get into the points. He's been off already earlier today. He's staying on the bike this time. He's a bit quicker than most of the other riders in the race, so he has a very good chance of winding Whatley in. Nicely in the air, Jeremy Whatley, high against the skyline. The left leg goes out. Remember, this man broke a femur at the end of last season, and look how close Rob Herring is on that hairpin bend. He visibly pulled Jeremy Whatley in. Is it going to go to the flag? Could it be a neck-and-neck tussle? These Suzuki teamsters will have to be careful that they don't fall foul of each other. The checkered flag being readied for Jeremy Whatley, but Herring is right with him. Whatley takes the win. Rob Herring in second. Warren Edwards on the Yamaha in third place.
That win for Jeremy Whatley leaves the champion 14 points clear of his Suzuki colleague Mark Eastwood at the end of round 2. Then come Phil Small and Andy Nichols. And that's it for this week here at Matchams. It's been a round where the schoolboys have actually provided the best of the excitement. We leave you now with some of that action.